Guys, how are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. So this is our Bitcoin morning update. So straight over to those charts. So yeah, you can see on the 4 hour, we're pretty much holding there or thereabouts around that 9,200 level that we need to get over and hold above. For us to make some more progress in this trend. Yeah, you can see we had a bit of a little of a foray up into the 9,300s, which is the middle of this zone. But yeah, we got rejected, but we didn't. But there's no real follow through. And you can see we're still trading higher than the low of that candle. So on this 4 hour, it's not looking too bad. 4 hour Stokes though looking like they're start to come down, which isn't great, but the 4 hour RSI is looking better. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, we can hold up here in the 4 hour Stokes for a bit. But yeah, we are looking like a bit of a BART going on here. I know that there's been some recent cases, I think against BitMEX, that have gone like into like American courts or something going on there, that they were specifically talking about BART formations. So seems to me like they were like trying to be a little bit more careful, trying to be a little more discreet. But this looks like a BART formation, and this also looks like a BART formation. So I wonder what's really going on there. But hey, who am I to judge? But anyway, so yeah, so like I said, we've really got to try and get our way, hold above this 9,200, hold above there, play out this range a bit, and then yeah, make our way up. I mean, we've got this little move up here. I mean, we can pretty much use that. I mean, you see how it came. You can see why we got rejected, sort of that level. You guys probably noticed I do talk about. Obviously, it's a game of levels. I like these ranges, these levels, these boxes. But also I talk about the midpoint of these ranges. So why have we got a line there? So we do talk about the midpoint of these ranges and how the midpoint is important. So I mean, you see the midpoint here was important. I was talking to you guys yesterday about we just got to get across this level above 9,000. Yeah, roughly the midpoint of this level, and then we can break up. And then again, look, you can see the midpoint of this range, 9,300, is important also. And you can see it sort of has confluence around here with the wicks, confluence here, and obviously confluence now here. So yeah, I mean, I can't be drawing all the ranges and then the mid ranges over, so we'll have lines everywhere. But yeah, you can see, so we have got this range forming. So maybe we'll get a few tests up there, kind of like we did here. But then potentially, rather than breaking down, we may then break up. But yeah, maybe we get a few more tests. Maybe we'll just take out the top of 9,300. What I will say though is that when we had the tests up here, when we broke down, we were sort of in an overall bigger down move. Obviously at the moment we've sort of made a bit of an up move, so you would hope the trend, at least the shorter term trend being your friend, that we can get some tests up here then actually break upwards rather than fail like we did last time. But bearing in mind we're coming off the back of this move down, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe we'll print an inverted head and shoulders of sorts. Either way, this 9,300 level halfway through this range, sort of taking it like baby steps, is going to be our first step to then sort of start playing up against this range, much the same way as we did in the last range. We tried to get over there, we kind of struggled, and then once we broke through, we then sort of started testing the next level. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. I do believe with Bitcoin's got the strength to at least get up to around this 9,800 to test the area, to test it. And then we just got to make some the market's got to make some macro decisions when we're there about whether we got the strength to take it out, or whether we are going to have a big macro reversal. And you guys know that I was looking at that TD sequential 9 on the weekly. So weeklies haven't been, you don't get, basically, weekly 9s have not really been a big factor in Bitcoin's price history, but that is because it's hard, that the higher the time frame that the TD sequential 9 is on, the harder it is actually to get it. So you can often price flip in weeks before you will actually get to a 9. So they don't happen often. That's why there's not a real test of checking it in the back history of Bitcoin. But that's just because they don't come up often. So it doesn't mean they're not important when they do, because they are important when they do. And the higher time frame they are, the more important. So that's the boogeyman for me. That's what I'm sort of worrying about. That's what I think a reverse price. But then I do know we've got time, we've got another week to basically blast into that 9, and then we can play around the area for another week. And yeah, I mean that's sort of how TD9s often play out. So plenty more room for upside in the short to medium term, depending on what your definition of medium term is. My medium term is probably still short term for a lot of you guys, unless you're a day trader, in which case you probably got the same short medium time frames that I have. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking for us to hold up here. As soon as you get over, I mean, this is not like last time when I said yesterday's video, if we get over this 9,000, then it's onwards and upwards. Because look, you can see we've only tested it once. We tested it quite a few times, that zone. We came back down, and it's like if we come back up again, yeah, then I think we got the momentum to get back up again. This is not the same at the moment. We've not tested this area enough. I mean, by all means, we could take it out and blast back up, but I'm not as confident as I was yesterday when we basically played out as I expected. I'm not as confident that at the moment we've got what it takes to basically blast this whole range through, but it is possible, just not as likely, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, as I was sure yesterday that if we do get through, we'll finally get through this level. So let's have a look at the range and stop. Range and stop playing out quite nicely. Look, we play the top of the range, and then till we break through, then we come and play the bottom of that range, and then yeah, I mean, so obviously the top of this range comes in around the 9,400 level, which is the bottom area of this box. Look, so we are kind of looking for a break of the range and stop, basically the range and stop level of around 9,004. Well, where is yeah, it's just under. It's actually nearer 9,370ish. But yeah, so if we break out the top of this range, form a new range, that could be what we are looking at, and we may bounce along the bottom here for a bit, this 9,100 level, before we then start to make some momentum. Make some momentum before we start to get some momentum. But yeah, again, this is it. This is the boogeyman. This is what you got to be careful of, this weekly 8. But you often see accelerations into 9s. I can't really show you it so much here on this weekly, because like I say, we don't have too many weekly. But if I take you over to a daily, I'll take you over to a daily, just look at some 9 examples where we have kind of accelerated into it. I mean, yeah, here we got one here, look, so we get the 9 sell, and then we accelerate into it, accelerate into the sell. A lot of them aren't. We get basically nearly the 9 here, but we accelerate up. Let's find some other examples. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. It does happen. We do often get accelerations in or around the 9, in the direction of the actual trend before we then potentially change the trend. I mean, it's not just Bitcoin I see these in. Obviously, I trade lots of markets, lots of assets, and I do see it all the time. So don't be just because I'm not highlighting loads of them now, don't be like, oh, actually he's talking rubbish. But yeah, what I am saying is that, am I just putting trend lines on here? We're moving everything all over the place here, aren't we? Yeah. Anyway, I mean, look, there's one here as well where it accelerates. So this is sort of what I'm potentially expecting on a weekly time frame for us to happen. Like you say, we've got the move up like this. I mean, we can get this, look, we can blast through the 9 and keep going. That's entirely possible. And obviously, if we break that macro resistance and get some momentum, that'll be like what happens. But I'm suspecting maybe we'll get a bit like this, where we will accelerate into the 9 like this, and then we'll basically hit that resistance, start to come down, and yeah, playing some downside. Obviously, I don't know what will happen afterwards. We could then play to the bottom of the range, but yeah, that's sort of what I'm kind of thinking there. But anyway, so I will leave you guys to it now. Watch out for my other videos. Oh, sorry, let's just have a look at the Stokes. 12-hour Stokes looking really good. 12-hour Stokes looking really good, which I believe is good. Obviously good for the price. 4-hour Stokes, yeah, we looked at that starting to come down a bit, and then daily Stokes looking start to turn up as well. So we are getting some good higher time frame stochastic momentum indicators as well, that we could be getting some upside. So that is definitely one to watch. But yeah, 4-hour Stokes, let's look at lower time frame. 3 hours topping out. Well, 2 hour look like it could cross back up, and then 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour. Yeah, so short. So we're not looking too bad across all stochastic time frames. So that confluence is actually really good, and maybe we are gonna get up to 9,400. Maybe we are gonna get around and start playing out this level today. I mean, obviously the big marker is this 9,300. Take that out and onwards and upwards. But yeah, like I said, we were coming off the back of a downtrend here, so maybe it did take us more tries to get back up to the next level. So maybe this time, because we've got more of the wind in our sails, the wind behind us, maybe we won't take as many tests, and maybe we'll get through 9,300 and back up. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, remember, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I will speak to you guys later today. Yeah, smash the likes if you've been listening, you listened to this point. Definitely please hit the likes, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.